Hello, I'm back, and life is beautiful, apart from the fact that I have been so ill that I haven't been able to record in way too long. It's been like a few weeks, but that's not how I rock and roll. But life might not be that perfect for everyone. Why? Maybe you haven't found a purpose in your life. For a lot of people, this can be a major reason why they're unhappy, or you might not even know that this is the reason that you're majorly depressed. Not saying just you, by the way. Feeling directions can leave you feeling like you have no control over your life, leading to reckless behavior or low self worth. It can leave you confused, frustrated. How do you even find yourself when there's so many options? Or not at all? But the thing is, you don't need to find yourself because you're right here. Hello. And if you're still confused, you have no idea what makes you happy, what you can do for a living, your goals, let me introduce to you a little Japanese concept called Ikigai. This refers to what would define an individual's meaning for living, their purpose, what drives them. And in this video, I'm going to be doing a sort of deep dive into what Ikigai really is and how it could possibly help you. How it could possibly help you in your life. And if you doubt that it would help, then just stay. Wait, I promise I will try to make it worth your time. And for those who are visual learners, don't worry, because there's plenty of diagrams. I think this is going to be a relatively short video, just a little leaflet of information rather than just a full-blown video essay. To start off, let's look at one of the diagrams that shows up the most often. This is most commonly used to make sense of the term, because in Japanese it makes a lot more sense, but to translate it to English or some other languages, it kind of just gets harder to describe. So let's just break it down. We can see that branching out are 4 different sort of reasons: passion, mission, profession, and vocation. You know, like what you can do that would make you happy, what would be important to the world, what you're good at, and what you can be paid for. But this definition is very job motivated. It's very difficult to translate this concept into English in a way that we would understand. And this diagram would make the most sense to us, but that is not the whole meaning. Let's just try and break down the word from here on out, okay? So let's just try and find some meaning in Ikigai. Iki means life, basically, and gai means value, so basically it just means the value in life. It's the reason that you get up in the morning, and it's just what makes you happy in everyday life. The Japanese language also has words for value in different things. For example, hatarakigai, which refers to value in work, and yarigai, which refers to value in what you're doing. In the book Ikigai, Yuriki Matsuhashi explains the Japanese proverb Junin Tiro, meaning 10 people, 10 colors. If you were to ask 10 people their favorite colors, they'd most likely all say 10 different colors, because people are different in their preferences and how they think. The same is with Ikigai. Ikigai also puts a sort of emphasis on embracing the everyday and the mundane, and the Japanese language have a specific word for this. It's hakisana, which can be translated to frail, momentary, short-lived, or transient. When something is hakanai, it's considered beautiful because it can only be enjoyed for a short time. Like an orgasm. You've probably seen that in Japan they celebrate cherry blossom season, and they have picnics and whatnot under the falling petals. It is a very joyful time there. That is hanami season, and they celebrate its short-lived beauty. Let's just read a quote from the book. Our nature of paying attention to detail allows us to enjoy individual moments in our lives, permitting us to find joy and ikigai in simple, everyday things. I think by now the meaning of ikigai should be becoming very clear, but I'm still gonna explain some more because this is a very good topic. Ikigai shouldn't really be looked at like a one-dimensional concept that just means one thing. It's more of a multi-faced concept that we can understand in ourselves as we grow and get older. This was a bit of a short section for me, but a definition for something like this doesn't really need that much time. Finding your Ikigai, though, deserves a lot more thought. Okay, let's go back to the idea of Ikigai being a work thing. I know jobs and work sound mundane and tiring, and sometimes we can really hate our jobs, but does it really have to be like that? In an economy like this, sort of, but I'm sure there are some ways that you can work around that. Even if you hate what you're doing and you can't really get another job that makes you happy at the moment, surely there's aspects that you can find joy in, right? Many people find that being thanked is enough to make them happy in a job that would otherwise make them unhappy, like working at McDonald's and just saying thanks. And the cashiers just sound like, oh, someone was nice to me. Even if they hate every aspect of their jobs, simple praise can really, make it worthwhile for a lot of people. And that's also just saying, just be nice to people working in like customer service. Okay, that's hard. Here's a section from the book that I actually really enjoy and I thought of for a while before I actually even, read the book. When someone is being negative and saying, my life sucks, he or she is taking an all or nothing approach and forgetting the good things in life and focusing only on the negatives. The same can be said for work. Avoiding taking that approach and looking at a situation as a whole can really make a difference. You've just got to think about it. Instead of looking at your job as just one big thing, try breaking it down into different components. You might find things that motivate you or bring you joy from that job. But now that I've talked about that, let's just move away from jobs and look at what an ikigai can really be as a whole. For example, my ikigai is to help people. I like doing stuff for others. I like making people laugh. I like supporting. That is what makes me happy, and I can follow a line of work for that. What can help people that also aligns with what I'm passionate about? Something to do with the environment, education, animals. So I'm definitely going to go down some sort of zoo animal or like garden related route. Whether that is an aquarium, a zoo, or kennels, or a garden centre. Because then I'm helping people become educated to enjoy their experience and helping the animals' welfare to keep them happy and healthy. Like, I could work at Pets at Home, which is something I don't really want to do, but if I did end up with a job at Pets at Home, I can help a family who wants to buy one rat and just be like, hey, you might want to, invest in two or three, because that will overall be more fun for your family, hopefully. It'd be more fun for your rat, which also therefore makes it more fun for your family. Sorry, baby. Or if I worked at a garden centre, I could like be a groundsman. I could tend to the flowers. I'll help the environment. I'll help people like enjoy themselves. And if I worked in some sort of like customer service experience, if I worked with some people, I could make them laugh. I love talking to people. And outside of like a job, I like to make people laugh because obviously laughing helps people. So I do as like good of a job as I can to, make people piss themselves. But anyway, Yukari interviewed a few people in her book, and I'm going to read out a few interesting ikigais that might help you find yours. Just to show that it doesn't have to be anything like extraordinary or special, just something that brings you joy and that you can, hopefully use to better yourself or the world around you. Japanese manufacturer owner Rika Yajima's Ikigai is to live or to aspire to live in a beautiful world. This could mean so many things, from being in a comfortable world, a stylish world, or just something that feels beautiful. So, she started a company that created traditional products for children aged 0 to 6, which makes gorgeous thingies like chopsticks and bowls, etc. Rika made a very beautiful statement about Ikigai, where she said that she thinks Ikigai is something you do even though no one has asked you to, simply because you want to. She also said that Ikigai is not about being assessed or valued by society, and I think that is a very important thing to say about a concept like this. We could also explain that she believes that the only way to find yours is by having continuous dialogue with yourself, which we will get to in a bit, I promise. Just looking at someone else now, Ryuichiro Takeshi's Ikigai is to connect different worlds. He does this by merging print and digital media and connecting different cultures in his job as an editor-in-chief. There are so many different interviews in this book to read, but I'm gonna leave that and hope that it broadens your horizons. So let's just take a few steps back and talk about having continuous dialogue, and I'll read out a few questions from the book. So basically what I'm gonna read out to you now is just a few of the questions from a list of them that are mentioned in the book. And these questions are meant to help you explore, your past and help you find your Ikigai. So let's just start, okay? Going back to my childhood, what did I enjoy the most? What events do I remember strongly, and does it still affect me today? What were memorable moments in my life where emotions were stirred? When do I feel happiest? What helps me from being bored? Where does my curiosity lie? There's plenty of other questions, and I'll put that whole page up in the corner now, so you can just stop and pause and have a look. One thing that I think would actually be fun is to make like a little scrapbook page or something just to write these down and just try to answer every single one of them. Don't leave one. And I just think that's a really fun way to try and find your Ikigai. Maybe you already have a few ideas on what your Ikigai is, or maybe you have no clue at all. And it's okay to have no clue. Life isn't a race, and this is your first time being alive. You don't have to, have your crap together immediately. But you won't get anywhere if you don't try. You won't get anywhere if you bring yourself down, and you most definitely have an Ikigai. I've met people who literally just don't care or don't do anything with their lives, and it's so depressing to watch because everybody has potential. Finding your Ikigai won't cure your depression or any illness overnight, but it could definitely help you find some purpose at least. If you feel like you can't do it, at least try, because you never know. Hopefully that helps some people find their way, because Ikigai is a really good thing to introduce into your life. It's already there anyway, it just needs to be explored, Jesus, okay, this video is so short. So we know now that Ikigai is your life's value, it's what brings you joy, and it's what you could use to help others in some way. But it shouldn't define your value as a person, because your value isn't dependent on how useful you are. Your Ikigai could be your job, your family, your hobby, your interests. Your Ikigai is you, and it's what brings a smile to your face. This book explaining it genuinely helped me and my mental health so much, and I would highly, highly recommend that you buy it to read. There's also plenty of other books that explain it really well also. Honestly, you can do as much research as you want if this video isn't enough. I think that there's a lot of great concepts and proverbs in Japanese culture that help to improve life anyway, and it's worthwhile looking into. But it's important that you do things that work for you and try to be the best that you can be. That means taking care of yourself, being kind and understanding, standing up for yourself and others, and trying to have some fun. So remember that resting is productive. You're allowed to feel sad and directionless, and that whatever happens, you're on the path you're meant to be on. Sometimes it's just that the path can be a bit difficult to see, especially if you're deep in the forest. But thank you so much for watching till the end, and I hope that this video helped someone out there somehow. I love you, and I wish you luck in your Ikigai finding. Bye bye bye! You know when you get to that point in your call where your voice is just vocal too, and you're just like, Mama's looking at me, tell me what do you see? Have I crossed the line?